and I've been a fire commissioner for more than 20 years. I've been a first responder for 47 years. I'm a former assistant chief. I'm a former county fire coordinator. The curves there are a problem. It's a descending, sloping road with multiple curves and a hairpin turn, going into a hairpin turn. And the fire trucks probably have absolutely no way to yield on the side. There is no shoulder. Correct. There is no place for anybody to go. If we encounter another vehicle, as the chief said, going the other way when we're responding, we're going to be in a very difficult situation. Somebody's going to have to move over, and there is no physical space to do that. Let's assume we have 100 rides a year going down there. That's a substantial increase down a very, very steep hill and sharp curves. And there is no question that we met with the applicant, and they listened to some of our concerns, and they put in a plan to try to ameliorate some of the issues on that curve, cutting down some trees, improving sight lines, adding some guardrail. At the end of the day, we're adding 100 interactions a year on that road for a large apparatus. The road is, those hills are on the west side of the hill, and during winter, it would be at least 11 or 12 o'clock before sunlight reaches that street, which means we could have an ice condition very easily. And the street, even in the improved area, is only 22 feet wide. Now, I've driven a ladder truck. I'm qualified to do that. Haven't done it in a bunch of years because now I'm an old gray hair, but I know how it feels. It is a dicey thing going down a hill in a response around curves, and all of a sudden somebody's coming the other way and there's no place to yield. When people see lights and sirens, they're supposed to get out of our way, move over to the far extreme right and stop. That's what's supposed to happen. There has to be room to do that. And if you drive down that road and think about that, it becomes a problem very clearly. The town, in the initial presentations when we met with them, was very quick to say, well, what kind of issues have you had thus far? And I'm in the safety business, and basically what they're saying is, you haven't had an accident yet, why should we pay any attention to it? We call that in the safety business the disaster theory of reform. You don't have to spend any money on the problem, even though it's completely obvious to anybody, until somebody gets hurt or killed. Then all of a sudden you have an impetus to spend the money. I'm concerned about my career staff driving very large trucks with large turning radii. They're going to have to cross the center line in several areas because of the sharpness of those curves, which cannot be changed by the plan that was presented. And somebody coming the other way will meet them that head on. And that's going to be a very bad accident. To give you an idea, can you put this up there for a second? This is an area of the hill immediately opposite the nursery as it starts to ascend the hill. That rut you see in the road in front of you is where a car, right front tire, went off the road. Yeah, right there. And here's the result. This happened this July. That's how fast something can happen on this hill. An instant of inattention. The right front wheel goes off the curb, off the roadway surface, goes up that incline, and tips the car over. If my fire apparatus is coming down the other way, I have 4 guys minimum on it who are going to be hurt very badly. Hopefully the guardrails will prevent it from going over the side. It's an extremely narrow road, and I have driven a ladder truck, and I do know that it's going to be squeezing the yellow line, the center line divider. And when that happens, if a car or truck is coming the other way, I'm constrained to wonder what's going to happen to our apparatus or the other vehicle. They don't have any place to go, as the chief said.
One of the things that I think should be looked at is as you head west on Underhill Road, and then you start to go down the hill, you make a sharp hairpin turn. That turn is over the New York City Aqueduct, and it's open. So if you had a truck, and this can happen at any time, but it can happen with a fire engine responding, especially on an icy day, and that truck goes off the road, you're on the aqueduct. And what happens if you go on the aqueduct, you'll have to puncture the aqueduct, and that's the New York City water supply.